Hey guys, so the purpose of my page is to promote human growth hormone, not just for everybody, because I don't believe everybody needs it, but a lot of people do. And just like not everybody needs a certain type of massage therapy, what I do, a lot of people do. And there's an applied type of therapeutic where very much I believe, and this is why I'm getting into it, and this is why I'm promoting it with such enthusiasm as I am, because I really believe that many people can benefit from this. And I'm just getting into myself. Like, I don't claim to be a total professional in this field, but I know enough as far as my own research, and this is why I'm doing it myself, where I want to share at least my journey with you. If you maybe this is something that you want to do yourself, or maybe this is something you've done for a while and you've seen the benefits and you want to see what other people who are on the same page as you are doing, and that's what I'm here for. So this is all about growth hormone, the benefits explained. What I want to explain, what it's actually going to do to you. So first of all, it's going to increase amino acid transport to the tissues like muscles where it needs to be. So if you don't know what an amino acid is, it's like the building blocks of proteins, okay? And if you think in your body, like, what are proteins? They are like what is used to build anabolically your muscles. It is what's used for your hormones. It's what's used for any tissues in your body when you're building up, which as we grow up, obviously we're building up these tissues, and as we get older, we have a depletion of these things. So our tissues are not in that same state of growth, which is ultimately isn't that what aging is, right? Somebody who doesn't age well, we always say that, who doesn't age well. Well, they don't have that same utilization of growth, which maybe there's a lot of factors, and I want to put human growth hormone as the major one. There's a lot of other factors: nutrition, exercise, resistance training, sleep, even. And in sleep, that's where human growth hormone actually comes into play. So I want to start with that amino acid uptake, which this helps amino acid or human growth hormone helps with into the muscles. The amino acids that are the building blocks for proteins, which proteins are what makes us the structure that we are. And I'll lead into that, which is the protein synthesis. And again, especially with muscles, anything that has to do with like our musculoskeletal system, which I deal with a lot in massage therapy, we want to have a strong structure. It's like a foundation of a house. If you're going to build a house, don't you want that foundation? Don't you want the walls to be strong? And don't you want that supporting beam to be there so that your house doesn't collapse? Well, that in a sense, that's protein synthesis, and as well being used, especially in older age when we don't have as much human growth hormone uh, like production. That something that could be supplemental could be of help, therapeutic use. And it's something for me, which is my ankle and my knee injuries. That's what I'm hoping to. First of all, protein synthesis, as well as collagen and cartilage synthesis, proliferation of these cells. So I'm going to go on a little side note here on that, which is you have satellite cells, you have these pluripotent stem cells, you have red in your bone marrow and everywhere else in your system. When HGH gets there, it gets converted to IGF factor 1 in the liver, in the bones, and the cartilage in itself as well, which is being used to grow these tissues. Okay. The other thing is lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat. Now, when you break down fat, what does it get turned into? Which is glycogen and sugar, which is and that's used for lots of processes in the body. So first of all, if you take HGH, you can burn fat. Now, I would not take it. This is just me. I would not take it just to burn fat. Like, there's many other things you can do to burn fat, although it will help with that. Okay. So it can help with that lipolysis, and as a result of that, then that energy, if you want to put it that way, will be used to for good things. And although at the same time, it's all about homeostatic balance. If you did it too much, then it could be also a bad thing as well. Now, the thing as well that I want to say is that, like I was going before, which is not for everybody. Okay, I'm 38 years old. I've got a lot of degenerative issues. If you have degenerative issues, especially in your joints, which are areas that are, for the most part, avascular, which means they're not a good blood supply. And when there's not a good blood supply, that means those tissues are not able to grow to the same capacity as other tissues in the body, like the skin or like the certain cells in your digestive tract or other places. So, what human growth hormone, which, first of all, some people say is unnatural. Why would you do something unnatural injecting into you? Well, technically, the human growth hormone that you get, which is pharmaceutical grade at least, don't go. I'm not talking about the basic shit, like the generic shit. You take the straight up pharmaceutical grade growth hormone, which I'm doing, Omnitrope by Sandoz. You're looking at it yourself. That is bioidentical to the actually shit that's being produced in the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland releases it from the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland, which is right fucking, I just poked myself in the eye, right here. It gets released through the body, places like the liver and other tissues in the body, like in the bones, converted to IGF factor 1, insulin growth factor 1. And that has a very strong effect where if you take too much of it, you're gonna have to, like, you gotta, there's like this window where it's therapeutic, and if you go outside that window, like bodybuilding, for example, or whatever else, or if you have a tumor in your pituitary gland and your pituitary gland is producing massive amounts of human growth hormone, you get giganticism, and that's not a good thing, right? You're gonna and people who get giganticism have a shorter lifespan. So you don't, like, big is not better always. That's what she said. I'm just showing you, but it's true. And but what the benefit is regenerating tissues to the extent where you're at a more ideal state, which that ideal state is like when you're in your 20s or like teens, right? Where your tissues are being regenerated and you're able to heal yourself, especially if you've had injuries, especially. That's why they give it to people who are recovering from surgery to a degree and recovering from cancer and who have growth defects and things like that. So, just to recap, protein synthesis, it helps rebuild tissues, and it also helps the satellite cells on a DNA level, like on the most fundamental, like DNA, like expression of proteins, helps grow things. Also, the amino acid transport to the cells themselves, and that's one of the major benefits I believe I'm having right now after 4 weeks of taking it, which I feel like my muscles are more fuller, like they're not bigger, but they're like, I feel like they're fuller, like they're tighter, and I'm getting like a few extra reps in on every exercise I do. If I'm doing curls, normally I could do 7 of a certain weight, I'm doing like 11 now, and that's after 3 weeks. I don't know if that's a subjective kind of thing that I'm experiencing, but I believe that is the case. So if you're getting older and you want to regenerate your tissues, I believe HGH could be a major breakthrough in future potential therapeutic use that has not been fully accepted. And I'll say this, like I do to end this, I do massage therapy for now 7 years. My parents do not accept massage therapy as a therapeutic benefit, and their parents would definitely not, never in a million years, especially from a guy like myself. So they've missed out. It's just coming to this point in time now where even my own parents, my dad would never come to a massage therapist for his own issues. I'm trying as a son to be like, look, this could help you. No, they got a mental block. It's a paradigm. We're reaching a new paradigm where things that are hormonal replacement therapies, I'm not talking about steroids, this is not steroid, this is a water-soluble peptide, can help initiate growth in the body beneficially in the right dosage, in that right zone that I'm talking about. And that's where I'm, through trial and error even, when I'm learning about now, what's the zone I should take? Because if I take too much, it's too much, I can tell. If I take too little, so I can do a thing. There's a zone, which is, right now, I take 0.8 in the morning, I use, of pharmaceutical grade, and at night, I'm probably going to take in like 20 minutes, 1.75. So in total, I'm taking around 2.5 a day. For weightlifters, they recommend up to 4 I use a day, and bodybuilders take up to 12 potentially more. But then you have to deal with insulin and other things as well, because you got to counteract. And there's a symbiotic relationship with insulin and human growth factor, which I'll get into this video, but there is. So I'll leave it there. I want to get into the kind of the sciencey things, because in my research, I mean, I'm kind of going over the extent which I wanted to explain this video, but I'll say right now, in the research of this, I did not come across these things so straightforwardly. So I'm putting it into my own understanding, and I might be wrong in some degrees along this, but I don't think I am. I'm summing things up in a way that potentially people who are getting into this themselves, I'm summing up in a way that everybody will understand, because it's so fragmented, all of these things, what I'm trying to learn and understand and do it properly and whatever. I'm trying to bring it all together, synthesize it in a way that in the future, people who are watching this maybe 10 years from now, who knows, could be like, okay, you know what you're doing, and maybe I'll do some other videos where I'll learn and I'll expand upon. So if you are watching this, stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Peace.